Run it back. Run it back right now.
Happy Saturday. Happy Chargers game week. This is an exciting game, man. For 2 weeks in a row, the Jaguars have the biggest playoff odds swing game, meaning a win and a loss for either team matters so much to their odds of making the playoffs. And it's not must win, Marcus, but it might be must win because we're not allowed to tank for a draft pick because we don't have a draft pick, and it's kind of must win, man. It's really unfortunate that we're in this position when you look back at the games that we should have won, and this should have been one that's kind of, all right, man, hopefully we win this. But good game, man. I'm real excited. I love Jim Harbaugh. What do you think about tomorrow?
It's hang on, I'm playing with my mic really quick. That's good. It's
Nice.
a must win in my heart,
Right. Spiritually.
I mean, I just can't let go of that comeback win that we had against them, how electric that was. I mean, I feel like the standard for us against that team is just like to win, Not only that, but I mean, we have to win just in the eyes of like we gave up our first round draft pick, and our guy that we went and grabbed, like he literally has no leg anymore. So
Right.
we have to be able to say like, okay, we weren't only decent because we made this weird, crazy, giant move to grab this insanely awesome player, So it's a bit of like, I think it's a bit of it's gonna be a game for the coaches for sure. Like just to show like we made this big, crazy move, but like we can still win without it, kind of thing. So we'll see, man. Odds aren't in our favor. I'll say
odds
that.
are not in our favor at all. And I think some Jaguar talking heads are going to come out and say, oh man, the Jaguars are without Travis Hunter. They're without Jordan Lewis. They're without Eric Murray. They're without X, Y, and Z. The Chargers are missing 2 Pro Bowl, all-pro level tackles, left and right tackle. They didn't have Rashawn Slater at all this year, and Joe Alt, who I love me some Joe Alt, also out. They're on backup tackles. Their running backs, it was Omarion Hampton and Najee Harris and another guy. Their top 3 running backs are hurt. They're on RB4, and he's playing pretty well.
Yeah.
I think what Keenan Allen and Lad McConkey are going to do to our secondary should be borderline illegal. It's going to be, I have a bad feeling, Star Wars, I've got a bad feeling about this. And Marcus, let me just ask you, who is going to block Khalil Mack?
That's a good question. I mean, you tell me. I have no idea. Like, quite literally.
I'll say it again. I've got a bad feeling about this. I really, that Texans game again, I was there. It all happened right in front of my face.
Yeah.
I mean, everything happened in front of my face. All their touchdowns, for some reason, I think all 3 of the fourth quarter ones happened in the end zone I was sitting in. The walk-off pick 6, he ran it to the end zone I was sitting in. It's going to be really hard to get the taste out of my mouth about that one. But what I can hold out hope for is I'm a little bit tired of being like, maybe this is the game where Trevor shows us, man. Like, because it's been 9 straight games, and we talk about like guys will get on Twitter and be like, Trevor Lawrence did enough to win that game, and they'll tweet out 2 touchdowns, 200 yards, no picks, and I go, no, he didn't. Quint told me like, well, not many quarterbacks are thrown for that much, and I get that. Like, the defenses just seem to be a little bit ahead of all these young quarterbacks and everything. But if I was Liam Cohen, I would be showing Trevor Lawrence clips of that second half against the Chargers back then, saying you don't need to spot them 24 points. You can just let it rip from the get-go. If you see a hole in the defense, call the play and let the ball rip. If BTJ drops it, I mean, what can you do about that? Like, just keep letting it rip, man. And everyone's hard on him. I saw people saying, like, the Jaguars will probably move off of him, me included, by the way. I say that all the time. But that Texans game was just, I think, 16 minutes of disaster, and Trevor Lawrence still threw a dot to Parker Washington to give us a shot at a 62-yard game winner, but there was a hands to the face that called it back. And it's like, why does your back have to be up against the wall for you to be ripping it to Parker Washington 17 yards of field? Like, let it rip, man. I will take 3 touchdowns, 350 yards, and a couple picks over 1 touchdown, 200 yards. Like, let the thing rip, man.
Yeah.
You know who lets it rip? Justin Herbert lets it rip. and
He
he
sure
throws a lot of
does.
picks, but he's going to be throwing rockets all tomorrow long, and I've got a bad feeling about this.
It's actually going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
it's gonna be fun to watch. Um, and the other tough thing is like when Trevor's back isn't against the wall. Sometimes, not every time, but sometimes there's a routine ball, like a routine pass to a guy that's pretty wide open that gets sailed, up in the
Yeah,
sky or thrown down and out. And it's like, nobody sees, they say, oh, he threw for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's great. But did you see that on third down, that routine pass that would
yeah,
have, probably got us a first down that he just completely missed? No, they didn't see that. They're just because they're looking at the stats. But you know what we do, Ethan?
right.
We watch the game with our eyes.
Eyeballs.
And
Yes.
so I don't know. I totally agree with you. Like, I just think that if he can get that way from the beginning,
Yeah.
and just like don't have the progression of like starting from like ground bottom to being like one of the best quarterbacks in the league throughout the game, just like fire on all cylinders from the beginning. I mean, that's us being, you know what that is? That's 20% better.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all we need.
That's and 20% better, Marcus, on Sunday last week. Okay, the defense gave up 3 touchdowns, whatever, but it's
Yeah,
like one first down and that game was done. It was wrapped.
pretty
I was
much.
sitting there
Yeah.
in the stands going like, if we can just get this 3rd and 4 or whatever it is, I mean, that's too much time off the clock. They're not going to be able to score 11 points. Like they're not going to have time for 2 possessions, whatever. But we just couldn't get one. Now,
Yeah.
that Texans D line was just nasty. And the Chargers have dudes. They've got Khalil Mack. They have Derwin James. Like they definitely have dudes on this defense, but it won't be that D line, but it will be Khalil Mack. But eh,
Yeah.
I I got to tell you, I saw this floating around a couple times a day. Apparently, the Chargers have the #1 rushing offense in the NFL, and we have the worst rushing defense in the NFL, or it's something about like a certain type of running, like a gap scheme. I don't know, a
Okay.
bunch of stats that I don't even know what it means, but it was basically like we're about to see the best in the league go at the worst in the league at one of these things in a running game. Eh, We'll see, man. It's not that complicated. If we can limit their running game, get home with 4, make them make a mistake or two, and if ETN and Tootin can get moving a little bit, free up Trevor to throw the ball because BTJ coming back. Jacoby Myers has another week with the offense, so they can use him a
Yeah.
little bit more. He doesn't drop the football. Parker Washington, could you imagine the confidence that Parker Washington must be playing with right now?
Oh,
That
yeah.
he's going like, wait, through 9 weeks, I'm our best player on the offense right now? It's like me and Travis Etienne and Brenton Strange if he wasn't gone for those 4 weeks. Like, he's like, wait, I'm our guy right now? The confidence that, like, they talk about it like it's a lot of times in like boxing or something. It's like once you become a champion, like you just get elevated to this level where now your mindset is, I'm that guy. And now we've got
Yeah.
Parker Washington playing with that mindset. I need BTJ to get that mindset back. I think Brenton Strange has that mindset. I need Trevor to get that mindset.
Yeah. Like the mindset is so big, dude, just that like fundamental understanding that you are where you belong, and you deserve to be in the position.
Yeah,
No ifs, ands, or buts. That I feel like that's something that we've struggled with just over the past, guys falling on their feet. And that's one of my oldest things that I like to talk about is like this is where dreams die in Jacksonville sometimes,
yeah,
people get drafted, they come on over, we pay somebody money, and then, boom, just like that, you didn't do anything in Jacksonville, well, your career's done. Or you're getting
right.
traded away, you're going to be a second stringer. I don't know. But look at who stepped up to the occasion, right?
Yeah,
Brenton Strange,
yes,
trademark him, put a stamp
yeah.
on him.
I like
Parker
him a lot.
Washington, we're keeping that kid. You trade that kid
Yeah,
away, I'm going to drive up to Jacksonville Stadium and hold a sign up and start a rally,
yeah,
because that dude has heart. He's got skill.
yeah,
His field work, just like his
yeah.
understanding of the field, is how many he's ran back like what 3 punt returns this year.
He got one called back against
One
the
called
Rams, so he
back.
should have
I
3
think
right now. Yeah.
yeah, one called back. I mean, love that kid, man. So
I
we've
mean,
got
yeah,
guys. You can't sit there and tell me we don't have guys. And then, I think one of the biggest things right now is getting Jacoby like really, really involved. Like, I'm not kidding. That guy theoretically on paper should be wide receiver 1 right now,
Yeah.
right?
BT's lost that privilege at the moment.
Exactly. He's lost that. So, we got to get him involved and, we'll see, bro.
Yeah. Um, you know, I mentioned it earlier, but I'm very worried about Keenan Allen and Lad McConkey because they're those two
Yeah.
classic guys. I think the joke in Los Angeles for the Chargers is third and Keenan. So like on third down, they're just gonna let Keenan smoke somebody for a quick 4 yards or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then you see Lad McConkey running these routes on the goal line or whatever it is. And I mean, he's just making guys look so out of his league. And one of my favorite jokes I've ever heard was Chargers social media. They were going around the locker room. They're like, "Do you have a nickname or whatever?" And Lad McConkey goes, "Yeah, my teammates call me Ladarius." And I just thought that was so funny. And I
That's
coaching.
awesome.
I think it's a bit of a coaching mismatch just because of the experience Jim Harbaugh
Yeah.
has.
Yeah.
Liam's the young gun. Let's see what he's got. I don't think the Jaguars will be able to pull this one off, but if they do, it's because 41 and 44 Marcus heard all the noise and decided to do something about it.
Dude, wow, what a sentence that you
I
just
think I
dropped
think
there,
that's it.
sir. You,
Thank you.
I mean, I'm thinking you're on to something, and you know what? This guy, thank you for having me on the podcast, by the way. This
Yeah,
guy
of
knows
course.
ball. I mean,
Yeah.
two in the teal. You come on to two in the teal, and you're hearing some real ball. And
Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more. And by the way, you had mentioned they're missing some pretty key people on the offensive line,
Oh,
and
both
so
starting offensive tackles, yes.
right, and so I absolutely agree with you, dude. And
Yeah.
if the D line can get involved in this football game, because we saw
Yes.
last week second half, and I wanted to vomit. I actually did vomit a little bit, but I was able to keep it down.
Margaret, they couldn't
Um,
have blown on him. They couldn't have
right,
they
yeah.
couldn't have done anything.
And when they did do something, I mean, it was a face mask into, the ear
Oh,
hole of the quarterback. And it's like,
oh, I
look,
mean,
you're towering over him. You've probably got 50, 60 pounds on the guy. Like, can you just tackle him at the waist? Can you get your pad
oh,
level low like you're coached? And just make the sack. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. He actually put on a really sweet pass rush too at one point.
yeah.
Ran up the field, took a bad angle.
Even on
So
the Davis Mills scramble touchdown, Trayvon would beat him and he was in the backfield. Davis just
yeah.
stepped up out of the way. Like, I mean, dude. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, 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 no. I'm at a loss of words from
I
last week
think
with this
the
D
worst
line.
thing I think the worst thing in the world right now in my life, the biggest negative, and it's something I wish I never even saw. Caleb Chason has 6.5 sacks this
Yeah,
season with the Patriots. The Jaguars as a team have, I think, 7.
yeah,
And
if that.
and it's Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker got to get home. And I know they get pressures, and I know Josh Hines Allen draws the double teams, and all that's great. John Gruden said this one time. He was just like, "Oh my God, nothing makes me more mad than pressures," because he thinks about like he'll hear commentators and they'll be like, "Oh, Dan Marino touchdown." Pressure applied by whoever, and John's like, "Well, would you effing tackle him?" Like
Yeah,
I don't want
dude.
the pressure, and
Yeah,
got to get home and got to get home with 4. Football is not complicated. When the Eagles dog walked the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, they got a pass rush with 4 players, sending no extra help. They limited their running game, and they put them in obvious passing situations. And then when the offense went out there, they were able to run the football and just win their one-on-ones. And it's not that hard. It's not that complicated. It's
yeah.
really not.
It really makes you wonder if we have the right guys, and I've been having this feeling for quite a while that we don't. Um,
Yeah,
Josh Hines Allen has proved his worth every now and again where yeah, I mean, he puts on a clinic out there one week and then the next week he might be kind of like not so present. And so you get a guy like Aiden Hutchinson or TJ Watt on the
right.
field and they are present making plays every single week, and it's so
Yeah,
undervalued how much one sack can change the outlook of a game, the whole game,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's the difference between a 2nd and 4 and a 3rd and 12,
Yeah.
just that
Yeah.
drop back pass that you get a sack on him, and it's 10 yards back. And so
Yeah.
if we can get to the quarterback, man, but that's
And
it's
they can
is that
do
so
it.
much to ask for?
Josh
Like,
Hines Allen closed out the first Texans game with hitting CJ's arm, and then he throws the interception. And it's like,
right.
I get really upset when I watch these other teams, and I'm like, TJ Watt closes a game out. Khalil Mack closes a game out. Like
Yeah,
Miles Garrett had 5 sacks in one game. Like,
I know.
and it's not fair to compare them to him, but like, I need you to close out these kinds of games when we have this lead and these guys are trying to mount this comeback. Can you just sack him and put that to a rest? Just sack him and go, no, we're done here. We're going to win this football game. Instead,
Yep.
it's like they weren't even, Marcus, again, they couldn't blow on him. They couldn't even have touched him at all. Like, not even a paw. It
Yeah.
was nothing. It was really upsetting. And I think they were getting winded because the offense was just 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And
Yeah.
you get tired. And that Texans D line, again, was just nasty. I mean, Will
They
Anderson,
were.
Daniil Hunter, I mean, just nasty. And when I was watching it live in person, I just loved watching our left tackle, right tackle, the things that those two guys were doing to our poor tackles. I mean, I was like, oh my God, I'm sick to my stomach right now watching this. And,
It was embarrassing.
oh man. And, it's going to be good, man. Look, if the season ended today, the Jaguars are in the playoffs. You would like to look ahead at the schedule. We have Chargers tomorrow,
Hmm.
at the Cardinals, at the Titans, home for the Colts, home for the Jets, at the Broncos. The Broncos, they play the Chiefs tomorrow, so that'll be a good game. But the Broncos are out here barely beating the Broncos. They beat the Broncos 10-7, I'm sorry, they beat the Raiders 10-7. 10-7. That Broncos offense is not this like high caliber
It can be
whatever.
done.
It's that defense, dude. I mean, we text each other when we're watching the Broncos play defense. I'm like, how do they have 7 guys who can get home?
Yeah. Like,
It was like
they've
they
got
got
guys
5
on
sacks
the
and it was a
ball.
different guy every time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And they have
that's
the
a good
defensive
point,
player of the
dude.
year at corner. Yeah. But
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, that's going to be just an ugly low score. I mean, it's going to be in Denver, and I fear our Beach Boys are not going to like Denver on December 21st. But you never know. I mean, they could be looking ahead because they've got to close out the season with like a Chiefs or a Chargers game. Like, that's a
Right.
very winnable game. Like, you wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos, it's more like the Broncos would lose it, not the Jaguars would win it. And
Sure.
then, a Colts, and then end the game home for the Titans. So in that, we've got 2 Titans, 2 Colts, the poor Jets, the poor Cardinals, the Broncos. I mean, again, if I told you
Coin
we were
toss.
500, if I told you we were 500 through 10 games, and that's with wins over Panthers, Texans, 49ers, Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers. No, we would lose to the Chargers. And we lost to, the Rams in London. Weird game. Almost, I mean, the Seahawks, even that, you're a couple plays
I
away.
lost you. Hang
Eh,
on. Stand by.
Yes, sir.
Hang on. I lost you. I lost you for a second.
I was just saying nonsense.
Are you there?
I was just
No, you
venting.
weren't. You were talking about the schedule.
I was trauma dumping. I was telling people, like, look, it's like we could have beat the Seahawks. We were there. If Travis Hunter wasn't lined up off sides, we could have beat the Seahawks with the Seahawks having an all-time performance in pressures and sacks. I mean,
Yep.
it's like
Yep.
ugly, 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 and we've been in multiple of these games by a play or two. And it's so frustrating. And it just feels like the city of Jacksonville will never get across that finish line. Like, I don't know what it is.
Never say never. Remember a key phrase here that rebellions are built on hope. So
Yeah.
as long as we have hope, Ethan, they cannot take away how we feel and how we're motivated about being fans for this team. So
Right.
let's keep our hope, if anything. But you're absolutely right. I mean, you are 100% right. That's how it feels, and we are always like right on the cusp of greatness. And you look at even last season. We'll get to last regime's rant down the road
Oh,
sometime. But
Trent Baalke
you
really
look at
set us back a couple years, by the way. Go ahead.
yeah, you look at last season where we had all this. What a bad record, and how many of those were one touchdown games, one score
9.
games?
We went
9
like
of them.
0-9 in one score games. Yeah.
One score games. So, we're always right there. And we've seen flashes of this team, showing and proving that they do have the ability to be in that kind of talk. But,
Yeah.
it comes down to, at this point, the roster. and our roster is looking thin right now, you know?
Yeah,
No Strange, BTJ's not present, lost Travis Hunter. Trevor Lawrence is always like, is he the guy? Is he not? And so,
right.
it's always a big question mark. You got to put a question mark by the games. If Kansas City is playing the Raiders, bet your mortgage on it.
Yeah.
But if the Jaguars are playing the Raiders, it's like bet a dollar.
They might win in overtime by a swatted pass from the grace of God. Like it's yeah, you know. So it'll be interesting, man. I just think about the Travis Hunter injury. That's so unfortunate. And like, I'm surprised Baselli signed off on that. I'm surprised Baselli was ecstatic as he was about that, because the draft before, I remember watching the Jaguar pregame show that were happening, and Baselli was working it because he wasn't EVP yet. And they were talking about who should we draft. And Baselli was like, Troy Fatanu, the offensive lineman out of Washington. He's played guard and tackle. He was the number one offensive lineman in this draft. He was like, the game is won and lost in the trenches, whatever. But guys we could have taken with that pick, I think, include Jared Verse, Quinyon Mitchell, it just a really Troy Fatanu, who's doing pretty well in the Steelers. I think he's been hurt, but like, there were guys ready to be taken there. He traded back, got an extra third round pick, and got Brian Thomas. So, not bad. But Baselli was pounding the table for an O lineman, so I'm surprised that he was so ecstatic about trading a 2 and a 1 for a receiver / corner. I just feel like that's not. They keep talking about how the identity of these coaches and everything is physicality and old school football, and I go, trading a 1 and a 2 for Travis Hunter doesn't seem like that vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. You,
You know?
you've got your point on what every Jags fan feels right now. Um, I mean, it's tough, dude, because we saw him play and we saw how great that he can be,
Oh, I mean,
and
yeah,
then it's just like, but when you put all of your chips in one basket, here
yeah,
we are sitting twiddling our thumbs. We have nothing to show for in the draft,
right,
pretty much. Like,
yeah,
we've got nothing to show for it now. We could have had two key players, whether they be offense, defense, or both, starting right now, stepping up and rising to the occasion and giving those guys a chance to prove their worth in Jacksonville. And like, now we're just sitting here like, okay, let's go get Jacoby Myers and cross our fingers that that's
cross our
enough.
fingers, yeah.
That's
It,
what's
it's
so devastating about it, dog.
It was also a surprising move because, people go, well, James Gladstone came from the Rams, and the Rams, their whole thing is like, F them picks. I go, right, they traded 2 firsts for Jalen Ramsey, who was already like first team all pro corner.
Yeah,
They didn't trade up for a rookie who was going to do some corner and some receiver. He weighs a buck 80 soaking wet. Like,
right.
and he's a really good player. Again, my frustration comes from when we watched the games in person with our eyeballs. We all walked away going like, Travis is our best receiver and our best corner, and I don't think it's close.
Right.
And that's what's frustrating, that when he gets hurt, I go, now we're missing our best receiver and our best corner. And I don't know. I sit there and I go, what if we had taken Membu, the offensive lineman, and then grabbed Quinshawn Judkins in the second round? And then this year upcoming with this first round pick, that left tackle from Alabama, he looks really good. Caden Proctor, shout out.
Yeah, that's
Shout
my
out
guy.
Proc. Yeah, that's your guy. I mean, I don't even know if he's coming out for the draft, but I'm just like, it was a surprising move. And then the Rams in this past draft, they traded out of the first round and got an extra first round pick in this upcoming draft so the Falcons could come up and get an edge rusher, James Pierce. It just didn't seem very Rams coded, the move up for Travis Hunter. No matter
It
how good Travis
seemed
Hunter is, he's great.
so Yeah, it was so like, you know what it was? Is it was young, it was trendy, it was a hip
Yeah,
move.
yeah,
It was a clickbait kind of social
yeah,
media kind of look at us, here we are, don't sleep on us. We're making moves kind of thing. And whether it was good or bad, obviously now it's really damn bad because we're struggling on both offense and defense without him. But at the time, when we saw what he did, to the Bengals and Monday Night Chiefs, like, I was like,
yeah,
yeah, this is great. This is the
yeah,
guy. Yeah,
yeah.
this was worth every penny. And we are
And then he
just
got
so
hurt.
screwed right now, dude.
It's also frustrating. You look and you go like all the guys who are playing right now and impacting at a pretty high level that I'm like, well, we could have had them and we would have still had a second and a first. Tyler
Yeah.
Warren, tight end on the
Yep.
Colts. I mean, he's going to make the
Oh
Pro
my
Bowl this year as
gosh,
a
dude.
rookie.
Yeah, he's
I mean,
so
Marcus,
good.
he's fat. He's like 6'4" and he's so fast. And it's like, he's just like the
He's
worst
so good.
matchup you've ever seen because the linebackers are too slow and too short. The DBs are too small. Like, it's like, you know what Trevor really could have used this year? Him.
A good
Like,
a good, like a big pass catching,
yeah,
reliable check down kind of player just
yeah.
to give him some confidence, someone to throw the freaking ball to.
And it's like, okay, well, what if we had gone defense instead? Okay, you could have grabbed Mason Graham. You could have had that
Yeah,
defensive tackle who's
you
playing. I
could
mean,
have.
the Browns aren't very good, but Mason Graham was good. And it's like nobody would have gotten mad at you for taking a highly ranked defensive tackle out of Michigan. Oh, and by the way, you still have your second and first round pick. Like,
Yeah,
it just doesn't seem like I'm getting a little bit worried about Gladstone because we released Colin Saunders, the guy we traded the Saints for.
I
We
know.
sent them.
And I haven't seen a lick of him
So what was the
even
point of
before we
that?
traded. It was
What was the point of that?
a waste.
It
It
was
was
a
literally
waste.
a waste.
It
It
was
was literally a,
unnecessary.
well, I'm going to go over here and retire really quick.
It was yeah.
What was
I
that?
feel like he just like Gladstone just like, and then the move for Jacoby Myers. I'm like, I get it. He's got the sure hands, everything. But I go, you didn't send nothing. I think we sent a 4 and a 7. Like that's not nothing.
I mean,
Like
do
I
you
like
think,
Jacoby
I
Myers. I'm
mean, who
actually
do
okay
we,
with that one, but because we have so
y-
much. But
yeah, we got to get the kid involved, right?
yeah, and then Gladstone, so he beefs up the O line, and I get it, and it was a lot of floor raising. Which, by the way, the floor has been raised because at bare minimum, we've won one more game than we did last season.
Yeah.
It, I'm just not crazy about some of the stuff with mainly the draft. So Travis Hunter is hurt. Our third round picks were Caleb Ransaw, a safety, and Wyatt Milam, offensive lineman. Caleb Ransaw he's injured for the entire season before the season even started, and Wyatt Milam's been hurt for the entire season so far. And I'm like, wait, so our rounds 1 through 3 haven't done a lick?
We have nothing to show for it,
It, it's
which is
like
crazy.
if you're gonna get production from 0 of your draft picks because of injury, because of whatever, it's like it's gonna make you look bad as a GM. And
Oh, for sure.
yeah,
Absolutely, dude. You can only just, I mean, and it's like, what do we have at the end of this season that is like an opportunity for us to trade a guy away for some draft picks or something? Is that
right,
something that they can still do,
dude.
before the draft? Like,
I think guys like Josh Hines Allen, they can franchise tag Trayvon Walker, and because we have his 5th-year option, so I think this is his 4th year. We could try to ship off Trayvon Walker, Josh Hines Allen, Eric Armstead, but like it's a lot of guys that I'm like, who's going to take that contract? Because Balky
I
paid them
know.
$100 million to do nothing, fuck all, and I'm so sorry,
Dude,
pardon my French,
no,
and
no, no, you're fine.
um, and like, I don't even know. And I'm like, who could yield a first round pick on this team? Nobody. I don't even think
Yeah.
if I saw a clip of a Jets podcast and they were like, because the Jets just got 5 first round picks over the next 2 seasons, I think, like at least, if not more. They were like, what if you sent 2 to Jacksonville for Trevor Lawrence? In my head, I couldn't say yes fast enough.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Oh, you're
Absolutely.
gonna you want this contract? Take him.
Yeah, have
I'll
it.
figure it
I
out.
mean,
I'll give
yeah.
Liam Cohen, John Mateer, and or Ty Simpson over here in this Oklahoma Alabama game who are
Yep.
letting that thing rip and playing with
Yeah.
confidence. And maybe Trevor needs a fresh start himself. What's going to be on? I think he's going to be on the 49ers someday here. 49ers or Vikings. I think that's who would like him a lot. But anyway, oh
Uh,
God, I
I'm
get
sure
so
he'd be
fired up.
successful too, which is the tough part about it. But I
Yeah,
was at trivia the other night with the fellas, and Luke made a really interesting point, and he was talking about how I'm sorry, Luke, I'm gonna butcher this, but he was talking about something like with college football and how I think he was talking about Urban Meyer, and
yeah,
when they know that their job is screwed, their job is done for, they're going to get fired, why would you help a team, after that? After you already know that you're
yeah,
done for. Why would you make moves in the right hands to put this team up for success when you know that you're going to get a job at another team? So, like, something that they would do in college is, like, pay these kids a ridiculous amount of money that, monies that they don't deserve, and then they don't have that set up for them to get the next guy or to offer this
Yeah.
next kid, and so it's
Yeah.
almost like we pay these players these ridiculous contracts when they haven't put up anything last year, and then these guys get fired, all of these players get these ridiculous paychecks, and the new guys are just sitting there like, we wouldn't have paid these guys. And so it's almost like self-sabotage, and then you go
Yeah.
to another team and it's one less thing you have to worry about because you screwed them
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. So
Does that make
guys
sense? It
that
makes so much sense to
Oh,
me.
yeah. No, I mean, I don't think Balky was trying to sabotage the Jaguars. I think he was just not very good at evaluations and
Possibly. Yeah.
like contracts. He
Maybe
gave
he's a
Eric
guy who faked it till he made it and just
Oh, absolutely. He's
he
such
just
a
got
smoozer.
he
I
got the
listened to a guy
opportunity.
because he was also at in San Francisco when Jim Harbaugh was in San Francisco when they had Kaepernick and they played the Ravens in that Super Bowl when the lights went out. Like that was another collision was Jim Harbaugh and Trent Baalke in San Francisco. That's why Harbaugh left. Like he's a
Yeah.
drama and then when he left San Francisco, he worked for Goodell. Like he worked for the NFL. And then he comes into Jacksonville. He was our director of player personnel before Dougie P. So he assisted in the hiring of Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer gets fired. He's with Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson got fired before Balky. Remember, like Doug Peterson got fired first. And then, oh, dude, when Shad Khan at the beginning of last season said this is the best team and roster and coaching staff we've ever assembled, well, who do you think told him that? The GM, because the
Yeah.
GM got to go, this is the best team you've ever had. So if anything goes
That's
wrong here,
such a
it's
mess,
on
bro.
Doug. And
That's such a mess.
and so at least we have a regime that's not going to do that. But
Yeah.
I tell you, let me ask you this. Do you think if Shad Khan was forced to get rid of either Liam Cohen or Trevor Lawrence, who would he get rid of?
Oh my god, he get rid of Trevor so
So
fast?
fast. So
Like,
fast.
I mean, if he has, some brains up there and he's not like emotionally attached to Trevor and his family,
Right.
oh my gosh, you would
Yeah.
get rid of Trevor so quick.
Yeah.
Because
I think so too.
clearly we've got good minds as far as coaching goes.
Yeah.
GM is kind of in question a little bit,
Yeah. He
but
got unlucky with
he's
injuries, but like,
yeah, needs another draft. We got to see. I'm so
he
excited
needs
for this
another
next
draft.
draft, dude. Oh my
But we don't have
gosh.
a first round pick. So like, why did you do that? Like, I,
Can
I,
we
I
get
just,
one? I don't know.
I don't know for who. I mean,
I
and
know.
also
Oh my
Gladstone's
god.
dealing with a ton of dead money from guys
Yeah,
like everyone. Like, I'm trying to even like think like Christian Kirk. We're still paying Christian Kirk.
I
We're
know. Isn't that
we're
crazy?
Gabe Davis signed a 3-year, $40 million contract last offseason.
Can
Trent
you
Baalke
believe
gave
that?
him $40 million. We're still paying Gabe Davis for the next 2 seasons. We're still paying well, we traded Tyson Campbell, so I think we're okay with that. But like, there's just guys who don't even play for the Jaguars that they're on the payroll for tens of millions of dollars. And so, to be fair, they walked into that situation. It all goes back to just these drafts that Trent Baalke did for us. And look, Trayvon Walker, he would have gone in the top 15, don't get me wrong, but this regime would have drafted Aiden Hutchinson.
Oh,
I
100%.
think
Absolutely.
a couple years ago, I think they would have stayed put and drafted Quinyon Mitchell or Jared Verse. I
Mhm.
think they draft before that Anton Harrison Fine. Who was before that? I don't even know. A guy not even on the football team. And then there's the first round when we got the Jalen Ramsey first round picks and they drafted Caleb Chason and CJ Henderson. And it's like, it's just years of bad drafting stacked up into like, who is on this football team?
Yep. Yep. And didn't we have a good draft in 2017?
We've had some good drafts for sure. Like we had a Cam Robinson, Miles Jack, Yannick Ngakoue, like
Isn't
Allen
that when we got
Robinson.
Jalen Ramsey?
Jalen Ramsey, we got him in the 5th round. I think it was the year before 2017. But like we've had good
Isn't that
drafts.
crazy?
But you
5th
see what
round.
2 bad drafts where you only get 1 or 2 really good players out of it will set you so far back because you cannot just
Yeah.
free agency your way into a good team.
And that's what we're trying to do with what's his name? We just picked him up, the wide receiver. What's his name again?
Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby. That's what we're trying to do with Jacoby. I mean, and that's what it's just cross your fingers and hope.
Yeah. Parker
That's all we
Washington
get.
was, a hit in the 5th round, and so you can always, like, stumble yourself into one of these good picks, but, like, even our look, man, in order to beat the Chargers tomorrow, the guys who were drafted highly and make a lot of money have to play well. It simply has to happen. They have no excuses. The edge rushers need to beat these backup tackles.
Yeah.
They've got Khalil Mack, I get it, but, like, Brian Thomas has to catch the football. He's gotta make plays down the field. I mean, it's like, we cannot just get nothing out of these guys that we've put so much equity into.
There's so much on the line as far as like my opinion goes for Trayvon Walker and
Yeah,
BTJ tomorrow. Like
yeah,
as just somebody who cares about this team, if they don't perform tomorrow, I mean, I'm out on them respectfully.
yeah, yeah.
I'm out.
Something we talk about a lot is, like, Trevor, Josh, like, hey, you're not getting paid to beat up on the Titans in
Right.
week 12. You're
Right.
getting paid to close out a game like the Los Angeles Chargers or to close out an in-division game against the Houston Texans. That's where the
Yes.
frustration comes from, is I'm like, I'm not going to pat your back for beating the Panthers week 1. And something about the losing culture in Jacksonville is, I know it's silly and I know it's annoying of me to say it, but I still can't get over when Trevor Lawrence will beat the sorry Panthers in week 1 and post 16 Instagram photos like, big win with the boys. And I'm like, oh, can you just move on? Dak
Yeah.
Prescott doesn't do that. Jalen Hurts doesn't do that. I mean,
Right.
they move on. Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah.
his goal is Super Bowl. He doesn't care about week 12 against whoever.
Yeah. Winning is supposed to be that's the standard. That's what you're
Yeah.
supposed to do is win. So like the celebrations and I get it in the locker room, but like the never-ending posts of like the team
Yeah.
winning a
He posts on
routine
Tuesday.
game,
Tuesday, we've
that's
moved on.
that's supposed to happen. Like it should be routine for good teams to win, majority of their games. If anything, in my opinion, when we lose, I want to see more of that. I
Yeah.
want the losses to be more gassed up because
Yeah.
I want other people in other states saying, "Oh, the Jags lost," haha, in your face, because that's not supposed to happen. We're
Yeah.
supposed to be winning games. I will say though, I want to make a point. Something that got me fired up and gave me a little bit more hope last week when that clock struck 0 in the fourth quarter, they panned the camera straight to head coach. And I don't know if you saw this. He slammed that clipboard on the ground and his headset so hard, you heard it down here in Jacksonville. And that gave me so much hope just as a fan of saying, like, thank God this guy has some passion and that he actually cares.
Yeah.
And he proceeded to step up to the microphone on the podium later that day, cool, calm, collected, with like a firm understanding of what happened and what they need to look at, And so an emotional guy who wants to win is what we need. So
Yeah.
that's good. I thought it was really good.
Yeah. I think coaching staff is locked in. I think they're locked in. It's
Yeah.
it's the roster, man. It's like Liam Cohen can call an offense. Campanile can call a defense. It's the talent level. I really think it. And, I was a Doug Peterson defender because they would get in the press conferences and be like, who's calling the plays? And he would be like, look, if we're missing tackles and dropping the football and fumbling the football, it doesn't matter who's calling the plays.
Yeah.
And they kept getting on him about calling the plays. And then he's like, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, if we can't pick up a first down because we can't hit a block and let a running back get more than 1 yard, it's got to be maddening to watch for him.
Yeah. Where's the actual problem? And
Seeing
it
nobody
was
get
such a
home with
culture
4 pass
problem,
rushers.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
It-
was such a culture problem, man. It was so much bigger than just like one guy calling plays.
Yeah. And Houston
They knew
got
their
me
jobs were toast. They knew.
Houston got me really upset because, again, because Travis Hunter wasn't playing, of course, and who knows what would have happened if he was. But I'm like, again, you know what we really could have used in that game? Another D lineman or O lineman, maybe Mason Graham and the Dolphins got a good one. Saviana or something like on
Yeah.
the Dolphins. But I'm like, you know what we really could have used there? A little bit of
Help.
few more of these, a little help, not 40-year-olds that Balky paid $80 million. Like,
Yeah.
it's just a tough thing. So anyway, Do you have a prediction for tomorrow?
I don't even want to say it because I think every time I have, it hasn't gone well. So I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on the prediction this week and see what happens. But I'm not even thinking it in my brain. You know, the only thing that I am manifesting and predicting is a Jags win. That's
Okay.
it. You know, so I'm going to stay away from the numbers and I'm going to keep it objective based, which is W. So I'm going to say my prediction this week is W.
Okay. I placed a $5.60 bet on the Chargers to win as an emotional hedge, so that even if the Jaguars lose, at least I made $5. And um, because what am I? I'm not gonna predict a Jaguar loss. Who are we kidding here? I'm gonna predict 23-20 Jaguar win on a game-winning drive by Trevor Lawrence. Maybe not a game-winning drive, but Cam Little kicks the field goal. Now Justin Herbert has a
Yeah.
chance to get down the field, and 41
Yeah.
or 44 are going to step up to the plate. I think
Okay.
that's what's going to happen.
Okay. So we're winning off the leg of Cam Little and
We're winning off the leg
the
of Cam Little.
idea that Trayvon Walker does what he came here to do. You know,
Yes.
when he got drafted above one of the best defensive end pass rushing
That we've seen in the last 15 years.
players,
Yeah.
yeah, that we've seen in the last 15 years, who, by the way, like snapped his leg in half last season and then
Yeah.
had a rod put in, surgery, all of that, rehab, and is still
And is
like
still just kicking ass. and oh, and imagine how good would Josh Hines Allen be playing opposite of Aiden Hutchinson? I mean,
Oh, it would be so good because it would give them the space to free up on the double teams, man. They'd have to drop a guy down. They'd have to
yeah,
play more tight end packages. Yeah, it would be nice.
I'm manifesting it. So it's going to be a good one, man. I'm really excited.
I hope so, man. You know, I'll be texting you.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
It'll either be like, "Oh my God, did you see that?" or "What are we doing?"
yeah, like, oh my God, oh my God. So, my favorite are Quint's texts of just being like, cut him. I hate him. Like, so,
Yeah, and he finally came around to seeing that Trayvon is not the difference
yeah,
maker in our
yeah.
defense,
He's slowly
which is
coming
good.
around.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right.
Yeah.
Let's have a wonderful Saturday night. Watch some college ball, Texas, Georgia. That should be
Let's do
pretty
it.
good. And
Yeah.
talk tomorrow, man. Sweet dreams.
All right, man. Have a good night. Bye, everybody.
Peace.